demonic attacks. They are satanic attacks. Satanic attacks are different from demonic attacks. Satan is the head of the hierarchy. Demons are lower beings from him. Once it is a satanic attack, the degree of the plunder is greater. These are the signs and symptoms of satanic attack. And I am telling you, I'm going to give you a secret, the keys of the kingdom to overturn this. Once you are petitioned by the enemy, go back to God. And here is what you should do. Intercessor, counter petition. Use the word counter petition. Say it.
Counter petition.
Say it again. Counter petition.
Counter petition.
Do not just wail at the altar. Do not cry about the loss. Come to God. Lord, I counter petition. I want my husband back. I want my son back from drug addiction. I want all the money that I've lost from the business to be returned to me. You need to counter petition. And you tell the Lord, I am the charm. Satan is our enemy. You don't listen to him. God, you listen to me. The robbery and the loss must stop. Enough is enough, people of God. You need to bring your level of warfare into this line, because you need to be invasive in order to see the restoration of your blessing. Some of you here tonight, you need your husband back. Some of you here tonight, you need your wife back, your children back, the lost business, the lost income, the lost cargo. Petition to God, Lord, return it to me. Counter petition. And get rid of those friends that they go to church with you and then they give you advice. The Bible said Job's friends make an appointment to see him. They texted him, Job, are you available on Wednesday? We would like to see you. From a mile distance, they could not recognize Job. You know why? After everything was stolen, after the children were dead, the house were gone, Job has boils from head to toe. Can you imagine that? You are worried of your acne located on your face. How about boils from head to toe? And boils are bigger than acne. His friends could not identify Job. How can you identify a man full of boils? What you see is someone walking with boils. It's a boils with a person. Not a person with a boils. But boils with a person. Boils is all over his body. When he turns around, boils is in his back. When on his side view, boils are still there. When in front, the boils are even worse. That the Bible said Job has to scrape it. It was so yucky. The friends were so surprised when they saw Job that the Bible said they could not speak for a week. They were in a state of shock for 1 week. Some of your friends, they were never nice to you. They're gossips anyway. They're backbiters. They love to character assassinate you. How you wish they were silent for 7 days. Job's friends, they were quiet for 7 days. Where are you going to start your fellowship with a man full of boys? With 10 children dead, no more business, no more income. He is bankrupt. So they were only staring at each other for 7 days. And by the way, they're not Filipinos, so they don't smile at each other. Job was in misery because of his condition. And then after some time, finally they got tired of not talking. They opened their mouth. And when they opened their mouth, it's better off that they didn't open their mouth. When they started talking, they give all kinds of suggestions and counsel to Job, and everything is wrong. Sometimes you will say, brother, I think your problem is located in 2 Chronicles chapter 17, verse 1. And then another one will give advice. I say, brother, we can solve your problem by speaking in tongues. Another one came and said, maybe I should prophesy to you. And how you wish all of them will be quiet. Because even though they're well meaning, not one is getting it right. The friends of Job are not unbelievers. They're not wicked people. They are his friends. Job is godly, so he had chosen his friends to also be godly. If you look at the conversation from Job chapter 3 until the end of the book of Job, you will never find a line that they speak ungodly words. It is so godly. They go to church together. They sing at the worship team together. But you know what is the problem? It is not the lack of wisdom. There was no spirit of revelation. They try to diagnose your case according to what they already have seen from the life of other people, from what they have encountered on a personal level. But Job's case, it is totally different. There are problems in this life that you will encounter, that intercessors, no matter how many counseling you will receive, it seems like the problem is not going away. What you need is a spirit of revelation that will tell you what is really the problematic situation. It is said, during his time, there were no prophets. I taught you this morning, you don't want your prayer to be like this. Lord, there are no prophets in our midst. That was the prayer in Psalm. He was complaining to God, there was no prophets. Because prophets bring in the spirit of revelation. They seek the mind of God to untangle mysteries that you do not tap in a natural means. God give it to them. The DNA of a prophet is different than to a pastor, than to a teacher, than to an apostle. Let's go to Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was zealous. He is brilliant. He wrote the book from Acts, Romans, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians. All the epistles were written by Paul. Intelligent part 9. Here comes a prophet that warns him, you are going to die. He did not believe. The result, the best apostle in Christianity was dead. One of the super apostles died prematurely because he never responded to the prophetic word. This is the same apostle that we have learned this morning that taught us that says, do not treat prophecies with contempt. He did not follow what he wrote. Because if he received the prophetic word of Agabus, he could have been alive and Christianity could have benefited more from him if he lived a little bit more longer. You can be brilliant. You can be a super apostle. You heal the sick. You open the blind eyes. You are a missionary. You have traveled the world. You have planted 1 million churches. People are looking up to you in your denomination. Here comes a little Agabus, a prophetic person. Who are you, Agabus? You have nothing to do in life but just praying and prophesying. Why should I listen to you? Don't you know me? I am a super apostle. Before we know it, he is dead. There was no prophetic voice during the time of Job. Job was an intercessor, but there was no prophetic voice that would help him in his predicament. I am telling you, body of Christ, we are so blessed that we were born and raised, get birth in the kingdom, in the day and age where God had released the fivefold ministry offices. How great is your God? If you do not know how to avail of the prophets among you, it's not the fault of God anymore. That's your choice. Everything is given to us. Do you make use of it? Let's go back to Job. Job is an upright man. He is a blameless man. And by the way, he is not just an entrepreneur. You need to understand that during the time, camel and oxen were the means of transportation. Those were the buses, the taxis, and the jeepneys during her time. And Job owned the fleets of buses. He owns the fleet of taxis. He owns the fleet of all the jeepneys. Job is a rich man. So when the enemy attacked him, not only did Job suffer, but the entire business of the city suffered because their man Job has lost his business. Your malady is also the worry of your city. You thought it's only you, but whatever happens to you, your city will feel it. Especially if you are a man or a woman of influence. Job has a relationship with God. He did not give up on God in the midst of the intensity of the crisis. He continued with the Lord. Alright? In the course of the book of Job, the conversation focused on the nonsense conversation between him and his friends. And then eventually, it ended at chapter 42. And here is the ending. The Lord plans to restore Job back to where he was. I want you to understand. God plans to restore what Job had lost.
Yes.
When God restores the blessing, it is always better than the original that you have lost. The Bible said at the book of Job chapter 42, God doubled everything that Job lost. So let's jump at Job 42. Let's verify the word of God. So the Lord blessed the latter parts of Job's life more than earlier. He owned 14,000 sheep. Before, he only owns how many? No, more than that. Not 5,000. Before, he only owned 7,000. God doubled it. Okay? Now he has 6,000 camels. Before, he only has 3,000. So God doubled it. Now he has 1,000 yoke of oxen. Before, he has only 500 yoke of oxen. Now he has 1,000 female donkeys. Before, he has only 500 female donkeys. And the Lord also restored to him all the children that he had lost. And the children that God had given him is more beautiful than the one that he had lost. Okay? Something is not right with this verse. The Lord blessed Job with 14,000 sheep. Double, correct? The Lord blessed Job with 6,000 camels. Double, correct? Because God is a God of restoration. Every time he restores, double is going to come back to you. The Lord restored back to Job 1,000 yoke of oxen. And at the end, 1,000 female donkeys were returned to him. What about the sex of the donkey? What is the reason of the emphasis?
So pregnant.
When the donkey was stolen, it was only 500. When it came back, it was 1,000. That's the double portion of God's restoration. But the Bible emphasize it that what was stolen were female donkeys. Is there a possibility that the donkeys were pregnant when it was stolen? Why? What is the interest of God about the gender of the donkey? Is there a possibility that the donkeys were pregnant? You know, people, sometimes there are losses in our lives that you better lose people and stuff. You know why? Let the enemy do the work, and when it comes back, it's already a blessing to you. You can't handle it anyway while it is still in your possession. Lose it, and when it comes back, it's already a blessing to you. And you know what you do?